Chapter 30. I didn't say a word. I sat back and took a long breath, inhaling the horrid truth. Irmgard burst into tears and flung herself at my feet. Numbness spread over my body as if I were watching a movie. How could this be true? The woman who had worked with us each and every day, who had filled our stomachs with wonderful soup, who had filled the shop with the aroma of freshly baked crumb cake and had become part of my family, had killed my parents? This was someone else's life. I don't understand, I murmured, but I did. The facts were printed right there in that article. Irrefutable evidence. Irmgard kept crying, her head bowed. Anger rushed through me, intense and physical. I wanted to lash out, to blame her for all that had gone wrong. For an instant I felt true hatred, I admit it, but the feeling left as quickly as it appeared. I looked down at her. Her hair was sheared so short I could see patches of white scalp. Part of her punishment, I realized, along with the nothingness of her apartment and her vow of silence. She hated herself. I held the article in my trembling hand. "Did my grandmother know about this when she hired you?" I asked. Irmgard nodded, her shoulders heaving between sobs. "To forgive is to set someone free," Grandma had mumbled from her hospital bed. This was the person she wanted me to forgive, not stupid Mr. Darling. But how do you forgive someone for causing the death of your parents? I needed time to work it out, but it was too much to digest right then. Would this forever change the way I felt about Irmgard? She was still the same person. The one who had taught me how to cook and how to knit, how to see an angel when I had only seen a homeless guy. "It was a horrible accident," I said to her as much as myself. "Nothing can change what happened. Malcolm can't even bring them back to life." Malcolm. He was in the car, struggling to breathe. There was no time to sort out my feelings. I slid off the chair and knelt beside Irmgard. "My parents are dead, but you and me, we're here. And all we can do is keep going, Irmgard, to try and make things work without them." She stopped crying. The guilt she had carried was as heavy as the message that threatened to crush Malcolm. "You've got to take that message. I know you're afraid. I went into Java Heaven yesterday and faced Mr. Darling. I was scared to go in there, but I did it. I don't know what that message says, but if you don't take it, something terrible is going to happen to Malcolm. Please take the message, Irmgard. If it's bad news, I'll be there to help you. You won't be alone." She didn't get up. She just knelt there in some sort of trance. What more could I say? How could I convince her to take that message? I hurried to the window. Only a few cars sat in the parking lot, but something had changed. The Buick didn't look quite right. It was tilted from the weight of the message, but it seemed closer to the ground. Why couldn't I see the tires? Why was the car moving? Oh my God! I threw open Irmgard's door, ran out the stairs to the first floor and out the front door. A couple of joggers stood in the parking lot pointing. "Don't go near it!" one of them cried as I ran towards the car. The tires weren't visible because they had sunk into the pavement. "Get away from there," another jogger said, waving wildly. "It's a sinkhole. I just called 911. "My friend's in there," I cried, yanking open the driver's door. The air inside the car was as cold as Irmgard's apartment. No tropical aura, no scent of the highlands. Malcolm lay slumped against the passenger window. "Malcolm, get out of the car!" I pulled on his arm. He didn't move. The car shuddered and sank a few more inches. I slid down the bench seat and wrapped my arms around his waist, but I couldn't move him. I scrambled out of the car and ran to the passenger side. "Somebody help me!" I yelled. Because of the car's tilt, the passenger door was partially submerged in the sinkhole and wouldn't open. I ran back to the driver's side, but before I could climb back in, a man grabbed me. "Are you crazy? The whole thing could cave in at any moment," he warned, pulling me towards the sidewalk. He wore a uniform from the mini-mart. A crowd had gathered. Women with cotton between their toes and foil packets in their hair hurried out of the beauty salon. "He's stuck in there," I yelled, pulling free of the man's grip. I ran back towards the car. "I'll try." The teriyaki hut's owner climbed in and tried to move Malcolm, but Malcolm stayed slumped against the passenger window. The car tilted even farther. The man panicked and climbed to safety. "Roll down the window," one guy yelled. "Maybe we can pull him out on this side." The passenger window was already level with the ground, so I had to move quickly. Sliding down the bench again, I reached across Malcolm and turned the old-fashioned handle as fast as I could. Once the passenger window was open, two men reached in, but still, Malcolm wouldn't move an inch. The ground shuddered. The men fell back as the car sank deeper. Malcolm seemed to be asleep. "Wake up, Malcolm! Malcolm!" I shook him and pulled on his arm. Would he get swallowed up? Is that what happens to angels when they get demoted? Would I get swallowed up? Is this what happens to girls who fall in love with angels? "Malcolm!" Why wouldn't he wake up? "Please, Malcolm, I want to help you. I want—" The third bean. Malcolm, give me that bean right now. With all my heart, I desire that you don't die. You hear me? With all my heart. Give me that bean. Please, Malcolm, I want that bean. I grabbed his satchel from the floor and dumped it upside down, but nothing fell out. No packet, no bean. My eyes filled with tears. What was I supposed to do? Not even Superman could lift that envelope. But wait, there was one other person who could lift it. Irmgard, I yelled out the window. Get out of there, a lady cried from the sidewalk. The car tilted and the driver's door slammed shut. I pulled myself up the bench sheet, rolled up the window, then climbed out of the car. Irmgard stood on the front steps of her building, terror in her eyes. Terror had invaded my entire body, but at least I was trying to help. Irmgard, you're the only one who can save him. Half the passenger window was below the pavement. I lay on my stomach at the edge of the sinkhole and reached in, taking Malcolm's cold hand. My pulse pounded in my neck. Malcolm, Irmgard's coming. Katrina, he whispered, if anything happens to me, she's here, she'll take the message. Irmgard! If it hadn't been for this message, I would never have met you. His eyes stayed closed. I'm glad I met you, Katrina. I'm glad you let me be a part of your life. Those sounded like dying words. This was not going to be a death scene. No way. I let go of his hand and twisted around. Irmgard! She was there. She lay down next to me as the window sank lower. Hurry, take the envelope. It's tucked in his belt. She reached in her slender arm and easily lifted the envelope out of the car. The change was instantaneous. The sinkhole stopped trembling. A cloud of warm air drifted from the passenger window. Malcolm sat up and looked at me. His eyes went electric blue. Yes! As I got to my feet, he crawled out through the window and sat on the side of the car. The crowd yelled at him to move away from the hole. An ambulance whined in the distance. A police car barreled into the parking lot. Get away from that sinkhole, Officer Larson ordered. Irmgard and I stepped away. How'd this happen? I didn't know how to answer that question. How could I possibly explain? It's an emergency, I told him. This time it's a real emergency. As Malcolm leaped off the car, my eyes got all misty. I rushed to him and threw my arms around his neck. He hugged me back, his arms strong and tight around my waist. My heart slowed. I buried my face in his long hair and inhaled the sweet smell that I had come to love. Thank you, he whispered in my ear. Officer Larson strung yellow tape around the hole. Firefighters arrived. We've got ourselves a sinkhole, he told them. Everyone out of the parking lot. Malcolm and I wandered over to the sidewalk. I want to thank Irmgard, he said. We found her sitting in a cement playground behind the apartment building. The envelope lay in her lap. I sat next to her and put my hand on her rigid shoulder. It will be okay, I said calmly. I'm here with you. We're both here. She nodded. Then slowly she peeled back the golden flap. She pulled out a little piece of paper. One word floated on the page, one simple word that a person may take for granted, while another may desire it with all his heart. Live. As the three of us breathed in that word, the paper and envelope dissolved into nothing.